Hey guys, I'm on the road this weekend. Right now, if you listen to this right now, I'm at Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, April 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. I am in Stand Up Live May 7th through 10th. In Phoenix, I'm in Minnesota at House of Comedy the 15th through the 17th. Levity Lab in West Nyack, New York the 29th through the 31st. DC Improv June 11th through the 13th. Trip Flip should be starting right around then, if I'm not mistaken. Today's guest, an absolute pleasure to talk to. I could talk to this guy for hours. I listened to him for hours every morning on Opie Radio with him and Opie from Opie and Anthony. I loved him on Opie and Anthony, and he's a best-selling author. He's got a new comedy special called Contextually Inadequate. April 24th. Take a second, write it down, go set your DVRs. He's one of the best comics working today. That special is on Epix. Do what you got to do. April 24th to remind yourself about it. It's my pleasure to bring you Jim Norton.
This is
I'm obsessed with a bunch of fucking shit.
Hey,
What was it?
do you want to do Dr. Drew?
Yeah, of course.
Friday.
Sure.
Here, let me.
That's great.
Well, you know him?
Yeah. They just emailed me. Oh yes, absolutely. Here.
Thank you.
Great. Hold on.
Here.
I've met you. I don't know him well, but yeah.
Hey, I'm sitting with Jim's manager right now. I'll share all the info. You guys talk tonight. Have fun.
Oh, thank you.
We're rolling. Here, you want to send your info over to him? His name's Gary. He's a great guy. Drew's fun. You ever done Drew?
No, I like him. I've only met him once.
You and him would be so amazing together.
Yeah, we spoke at some CNN thing, and he said, "Hey, oh yeah, I always see your poster. I go to the agent's office or something." But we don't know each other.
He's a fascinating guy, and he's really very honest like you. He's one of those guys that draws honesty out of people.
Yeah, I like him. A lot of guys don't like him. They think he's exploitive and whatever. But I think, look, there are drug addicts and there are sex addicts, so why not show it and talk about it?
Yeah, I think I always have a weird time around him because I'm always waiting for him to fucking drop the hammer into an intervention. Fucking what?
Sorry for clearing my throat so much. I was at Rogan's and I drank all this fucking butter coffee.
Did you do Rogan's today?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I can't wait. What did you guys talk about? So I can know that I can listen to it and not have the conversation with you here.
You can ask about anything you want. We talked a little bit about the Opie and Anthony, not much.
I'm obsessed.
Are you?
Well, it's one of the things that it bothers me a tad bit. It bothers me, that I'm gonna backtrack for 2 seconds.
Sure.
I saw Amy and Kevin Hart on the MTV Movie Awards, and I did what you often do: is I applauded them in my head. I was like, "How fucking awesome!" I didn't get jealous.
Yeah.
A lot of comics get jealous and go, "That's how fucking bullshit." Why not me? But you've always done that with people coming on the show, and I think it's like a learned characteristic for New York comics, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, both of them have opened for me.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for them because I know them for so many years. And then there's the part that's, obviously I see myself as an abject failure. So,
I see myself. I'm like, I told Ari one day, he's like, "Oh, what a cool gig you have." I go, "Who the fuck wants my job?"
Yeah.
No one fucking wants my job. I ride roller coasters. I fucking, it's a fun job, but, I my stand-up lacks, and, so I always think stand-ups want sitcom or this movie but yeah, so.
Absolutely. I feel very much like a zilch. So I'm not jealous because Amy is Amy and Kevin is Kevin. Neither one of them are competing with Jim Norton. But it's just when you see people doing so well, sometimes it's a reflection that you're average, and that's what I look at. Like that's just more proof that I'm shit and I'm being rejected. But that's just that negative stuff that all comedians have.
I saw Amy on Ellen, probably I don't know, it was like a clip, and in my head I was like, I've known Amy for a very long time, probably as long as you've known her, and she used to stay at our house when we'd leave for vacations, and she'd come out and audition and watch our dogs and cats.
Oh wow!
And so my sisters, she used to go hang out with my sisters, and so in a weird way, I always thought of her as a little sister. But man, she was on Ellen, and I kind of was like, well, maybe I'll watch a little bit. She fucking destroyed, and it made me for the first time I was jealous, and I was like, fuck, I need to write. here she is just talking about one little sitting at a Lakers game, and she's running through bits. I'm like, I'm not getting on stage enough. I'm not doing enough work. I'm just fucking phoning it in. I go to the first punchline that works, and then I stick a pin in it. I go, there we go. We wrote the joke.
Yeah, she's very funny on those shows. I didn't see it. I didn't watch the appearance. But Amy's great in those moments, man. She's really good.
But my point I was going to say was, I watch, like, I was telling you coming in, I listen to Ron and Fez, I listen to OJ in the morning, I listen to...
It's Opie in the morning. I'm just on the show. I
love the name OJ in the morning.
Hold on. John, that thing is loud. What the fuck are you doing?
Are you just going through my phone?
No,
You could send it, but just turn the click off. All right.
But I listen to Rogan. I'll listen to your episode with Rogan. And so I always feel weird when, like, even like you or Burr or Bobby or guys that when I started, you guys were definitely like a class or two above me. But I always feel weird, like, fanboying with you guys because I like the shit you do. Like, I just listened to you guys with Louis and Voss and the astronaut today.
Oh, he was good, right?
And it was like, Voss is so goddamn fun. Can I ask you a deep question? And I just start fucking laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what, it's the same thing. I told you about this last time, but same thing with Tough Crowd. It was like my favorite show ever. But the Opie and Anthony stuff was like the breakup.
Yeah.
Because I knew that was going on.
You could see it. There were certain things that, again, all those years of being together, man, you just fucking, there's things about you that drive each other nuts. And I could see it coming because I know them both very well. And I could see that they were both frustrated. And I wasn't going and reporting, oh, boy, I think Anthony's getting sick of this shit to Opie. And I wasn't going, nor was I egging it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, it's very hard to not, when you're in the middle of something, someone said I was like the kid in Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
When you're like that, it's very hard when you know just to step back and allow it to happen because it's not my place. I'm not their mother. I'm not that codependent where I got to fix them.
Yeah.
As they said in The Godfather, every 10 years or so, you got to get the bad blood out. These things got to happen.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. But I think that there's still a shot at them getting back together eventually. They need time apart. They got to talk a little bit, whatever the fuck they got to do. But why not? I mean, worse things have happened. Weirder things have happened. They just argued.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
It was fascinating to listen to because I didn't listen to Anthony first. I listened to Opie first. And then I listened to Anthony. And that was not the way to do it. I think I should have listened to Anthony first.
Yeah. I listened to Anthony first. I got a text from someone like, are you listening to this? And I turned it on. He was like a few minutes into it. And I was like, oh, boy. And then I went back and heard all of it. And I saw Opie the next morning.
Oh, wait,
and,
did you tell who told Opie?
Oh, he just knew. He knew.
Okay.
I don't even know if he listened to it or if he just got like bullet points.
What did you do last night?
Yeah, well, I told him. I'm like, did you hear it? He goes, no. I'm like, I listened to it late. I caught like the last 25 minutes or whatever, and I listened to the rest of it later that night. And I was like, all right. And then I saw Opie the next day. And he spoke about it, of course. And he got upset. But he got upset remembering the good times they had. It wasn't like he said, oh my God, Anthony was mean to me.
Yeah.
He was like, he went through the whole thing and he expressed his anger about it or whatever he felt. And then when he was remembering the time, like when they first met, like going back to the earlier part of their friendship, which, it wasn't like Anthony said stuff and Opie just fell apart. It was one of those things where, but it's so funny. Somebody pointed out every time I do an LA promotion trip, I'm fucking talking about those two jackasses that I've known for all the years. One year, it was fucking Opie and the cake stomp. Then it's Anthony and the tweets. Now it's Opie and Anthony fighting. I literally am. Maybe I am a codependent fucking slob. I'm always explaining my parents. Well, they drink, but they're really good to me.
Well, it's so funny. It brought up because I got the text last night that you were being in town, and I was fucking excited. And then and they were, listening to the show. It brought up so many questions, their breakup, that I've had about you and your path in comedy. Because I was like, you really are the quintessential third mic.
Thank you.
You do not. You always seem to know who the guest is. You've done your research on the guest. You seem to have poignant questions. You don't step on anybody, and And when you do talk, it's funny. You're like the funniest guy in the writers' room.
Thank you.
And then I saw you have to be co-host. It was really interesting, and I was wondering like what if there was an uncomfortableness when it's just you and Opie.
Well, the discomfort comes in Like, I know Opie a long time. And
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you, and I don't know everything, but like the first time I came in, Opie liked me. The second time I came in, Anthony liked me. But every time, I always felt like you played to Anthony. So like I always ended up playing to Anthony because I saw you play to him.
Comedically, Anthony and I sync very well. We're both very similar. It's very weird. Like Anthony and I probably sync comedically better with him than anybody in the world. And Opie and him had better chemistry than me and Opie do. But that's not a shame-filled thing.
Yeah.
We were put in this situation. Like, it wasn't like Opie and I said, let's get rid of him.
No, right.
We're better. And nothing. It's like me and Opie look at each other across the console sometimes, and we literally look like two fucking guys who are like, okay, this great boat we were on is sinking, and we're in a life raft, and now what do we do? Like, he and I are very much like equaled out a bit in the sense that we're both in the same situation now. Like, what do we do? So what was your question about it? I was, what's it like working with just Opie? It's tougher because
but more importantly, what's it like being co-host?
Well, I looked at myself. When Opie and I were going to change the name of the channel, Opie didn't know what to call it. It was a process he was going through. And I said, look, man, I don't want it to be Opie and Jimmy. That's why I don't promote it. People always think that I'm motherfucking Opie by not putting it on my bio. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's a very weird thing because I never want to be disrespectful to Ant. So I'm like, let it be the Opie show. I'm okay with that. I'm okay being a part of your show.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm jumping into my buddy's grave if I say Opie and Jimmy. Because, I mean, that's what they call it just because we're the guys in the room.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to jump in Ant's grave, and I really mean this. If it's just Opie and then Anthony comes back, then it's Opie and Anthony again.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be Opie and Jim Norton, and then all of a sudden, like, they're going to hire Ant back, and then they got to take it and make it. But let it just be Opie and Ant. That's what the show is.
Yeah.
It's not like, ooh, Ant's gone. Now it's Opie and Jim. I don't want that.
It's when you're on Anthony. It's not Anthony and Jim.
It's the Anthony Cumia show.
The Anthony Cumia show. But it's still got you guys, it's, and I say that, and I hope that didn't sound disrespectful to
Not
Opie
at
at
all.
all.
Not at all.
Because the show has taken a turn, such a refreshing turn, and maybe it was the backstage fighting that was clogging up things. Yeah. Maybe, but like
mucking up the works, as we say.
I love Vic Henley's on the show the other day.
He's great.
I just didn't feel like I'd ever see. I could be totally wrong. I didn't feel like Vic Henley would ever get play before, but now I see him on, and like Florentine's on every fucking day. I mean, when you guys were talking about, and I like when I say I'm a fan of the show, I fucking listen to it every day. I get in the car. I'm being dead serious.
Thank you.
But then when Florentine and you guys had dead air talking about Florentine's breakup, I'm fucking like. I'm pulled over. I'm like, I can't merge on the 101. What the fuck am I doing right now? And I'm sitting there. And by the way, just so you know, I'm texting with fucking Sam, Primetime Roberts, the entire fucking time going, what was the name they dumped out of? Who was it? Is it an athlete?
No. He's a nobody.
Yeah, he's a nobody.
He's not famous at all.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I tried to text Florentine because I was like, dude, I feel horrible for you. This shit, or whatever. And then I was like, that's not my place. I don't, like.
Yeah, he could. He's talking about it publicly. It wound up leaking on TMZ. The problem, the thing was going on is that there was so much shit between those guys that sometimes the tension you'd hear. Anthony and Opie are both more relaxed now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because they didn't work well together. Obviously, they worked amazingly well together.
They really did.
But it's like any marriage that is strained, you hear it. And now Opie, I think, kind of feels like a little freer. And I think Anthony feels a little freer, too, because when I've done his show, I don't feel any tension from him. So the fucking key is for them both to figure out, is there a possibility of working together? Because the way I feel right now in the studio, or the way I feel when I'm with Anthony, I want it to feel like that when all three of us are together. Because it should feel that way. Because, look, we can all survive. But, I mean, I think that those guys working together, there's something about it. And I'm not just giving the polite, politically correct answer. I sat there and watched. You know what I mean? The thing that the listeners, some of you guys know what you're talking about, and some of you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I get to watch their faces, and I talk to both of them privately, and it's like when you see those guys gelling together and working together, that's the room I want to be in.
Yeah.
I like working with Opie. I genuinely do. And people thought that when I gave an answer, there was one question.
I know what you're going to say right now.
Opie said to me, "Why did you stay?"
And your answer was?
My answer was basically I talked about the technical aspects of it because Anthony was living in Long Island. It was a hard decision, and it was a hard decision out of loyalty to both of these guys, and I was like fucking angry at Sirius. How do I stay with this company that has fucked a guy who I love? And by staying with Opie, am I disrespecting Ant and going, good, you're out on your own? The drive to Long Island was a lot. I love the routine of the morning. It keeps me sane. And people thought that by doing that, by default, I was saying fuck you to Opie, but I honestly wasn't. It was more like, and I said this to Opie, I thought that he made a mistake by not going on Ant's show because, again, Ant was the outed guy. And Ant was the man out. We have to look at this differently. We haven't all been fired. It's not like we're all in the same boat. We're in a different boat than Ant.
Yeah.
So it's also...
and ostracized publicly.
Yeah.
Ant wasn't just fired. He was
clubbed publicly.
He was, yes.
He went through a very, very tough time. So we have to look at that differently. So my answer was more of a technical answer. And I wish I had thought of that in that moment, but it wasn't meant to be a slight of Opie. And people think when I say that I'm afraid of... I have zero fear of getting fired right now. Yeah. I like my job. I was scared when Ant got fired. Took me right back to 2002. I'm like, oh my God, we're fired. But it's almost like... At a point right now, I've been hearing so much shit from the fans, and I have like, it's like the company will do what they're going to do. But I do enjoy working with Opie, and it's like,
it's good.
People who hate him think, how could you enjoy working? I do. And, without him, I wouldn't be in that gig. But I also love working with Ant. I know it sounds like I'm being a little fucking fruit in the middle who's riding the fence post. But what do you want me to do? Lie just to sound edgy to a bunch of jerk-offs on a fucking Twitter? That's the truth.
They're very different men. I said... The last time I was in, I felt like Anthony liked me more, and Opie felt like he was staying away. But the first time I was in, Opie actually pulled me aside and talked to me for fucking like 7 minutes after the show. And was like, "Hey, you're really funny, man. Anytime you want to come back."
Yeah.
And he's a very different. They're very different men, and it was. I mean, I'll always go back to, and I feel like this is where both you, Anthony, and Opie all are at exactly right now. Is right when I got XM and you guys just got on, that was different radio than I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and Stern just did no shitting on Stern, but Stern did Stern's show on XM and just cursed. You guys did very different radio. It was long form. It is now what is podcasting.
Yeah, it was, and it's funny. Joe said that he only started this show because Anthony started it live at the compound, and Joe went, "That made me want to do a thing." And like, hey, you can do it.
The only reason I have this show is because it's Joe's show.
It was, so that came from Anthony doing live at the compound, building a studio in his house. So I feel like the earlier days stuff, but it's funny, there's always like, you were great then, but like, and I'm not saying you're saying that, but I mean, like, we first came on satellite, people were like, this show sucks. The glory days were NEW. But when they were on NEW, well, the glory days were before Jim Norton. I love when people in Philly go, I was a fan before Jimmy ever got there. No, you weren't, you dumb lying cocksucker, because they weren't syndicated before I got there. So if you lived in Philly, you didn't hear the show until I was on it. So anyone from Cleveland or Sacramento that writes, he goes, the show just was better with you. I used to listen. No, you didn't, motherfucker. Unless you lived in New York.
Yeah.
But if you're from one of these syndicated markets, you only heard it when I was on there. So take your selective memory and fucking blow your brains out.
I'll tell you, Jay Moore turned me on to you guys, hardcore, and I turned Jay on to Ron and Fez. Jay and I don't really speak anymore, but if he ever says that that's not true, that's bullshit. I definitely turned him on Ron, because I grew up in Tampa, and I loved Ron Bennington, and I loved Ron. Ron and Ron was like my favorite fucking show. And fucking, I really do think Ron Bennington is the most underrated interviewer ever.
And it's funny, I don't listen to Ron and Fez. I don't listen to anything. I don't listen to Opie Anthony. I don't listen to podcasts.
You listen to anything?
No. Music or whatever, but I have no interest. I don't watch things. I'm on somebody. I just got a text from a girl who's a friend of mine, and she goes, "Oh, you were watching on that Louis episode that you were in." I'm like, "Which one was?" I don't even know which one you mean.
Yeah.
And she goes, "When this happened." I'm like, "Oh, I have no idea what the story was."
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm like some weird artist. I just don't like myself. So it's like I was talking to Rogan before, but listening to like myself in characters, Uncle Paul, Chip, or Craig Schenkel, I'll listen to that shit. But just listening to Jim talk is fuck me.
No, I noticed. I had this conversation. I was going to say something to you, but it doesn't make sense now. But I had this conversation in a meeting the other day, and we were talking about sitcom development, and I was saying that the dialogue between a fan and a comic has changed so drastically in the last 6 years that's why, like, John Mulaney is one of the funniest fucking guys alive.
Yeah.
And if his show isn't going to be a fucking beloved by America, then I don't know.
Canceled?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. If that, then this 4-camera sitcom shouldn't work.
Well, they also have to get something that fits. You know, when something is like, with sitcoms are very weird because if it feels like that had an older feel to it, and Mulaney's kind of an older school vibe. He's like an old soul performer.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's harder for shows that have a feel of a 4-camera sitcom or whatever it is. It's harder for them to survive if they feel like it because of what's going on now. Does that make any sense? Like,
No.
a 4-camera sitcom has to be something totally different for it to work.
Well, because I think that, there's so much has changed. Like, John Mulaney, I watch his show. I think John's brilliant. I really do think
he's a great
brilliant.
comic, man.
And I watch his show, and I kind of want to go, hey, why aren't you talking about when you're addicted to cocaine and obsessed with Steely Dan? Like, where is that voice? Like, where are these, like, little, like, and I was wondering if you were the first generation to notice it, because O&A was the first, I'll say the first long form art exhibit, comedy art exhibit. I'm like, definitely the first podcast.
Well, yeah, and Opie has told me that I like as far as like noticing this stuff, and I don't. I guess I just did it because we did it to each other at the Comedy Cellar. But he said that what I brought to the show was that I was like calling out bad jokes and bombs as opposed to uncomfortably laughing.
The best thing's when you guys go, no, let it be silent.
Let it be said, yes.
Let it be silent. He deserves that. Like, those are the I mean, it changed fucking everything. I mean, even I don't know if you noticed it, but Voss, when he says a joke that sucks, he does a hiccup after it. He goes, yeah, man, and you know what I mean? I mean, like he does like a skip, like a stutter step. I fucking love it. But it's because of being around you. It's a defense mechanism, a flinch, waiting for Keith Robinson.
Oh yeah. It's that whole group that would do that. We just call each other out, and it kept you very sharp. It kept you on your toes, getting fucking clubbed by these cocksuckers. Like Colin is so brutal, but I love that internal fighting. Like, I did an episode of Colin's Cop Show recently.
By the way, Colin's Cop Show is fucking brilliant.
It's awesome.
It's brilliant. I literally, and it's because it's Colin. Like, just it's hey, like, hey, happy birthday, this guy. Like, just the little nuances. It's the same thing as what made Ricky Gervais likable.
Yeah,
it's that subtlety of humor, not the like set up punch.
And what he did to me in that, making me wear the rat outfit, and then I watched his like monologue. Did you see my episode?
It's yours.
There's one where I have to play a guy who's being questioned by him and Keith about things, and it turns out that I'm wearing this really weird gray sweater with like hairy almost. And I'm saying things like I was a witness to something, and I scurried over to the window, and then I kind of call it out because he's got me using all this rat and rodent terminology, and he's basically implying that I look like a rodent. And it's all this inside stuff that Colin has been saying for years, and that just is what makes it so great.
Yeah.
People didn't understand that about Tough Crowd. Like, I love the fact that we were friends and just calling each other out, and that was fucking hilarious to me. Guys just being mean to each other. Who wants to see people be nice?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Nice. Nice is okay, but it doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know if it's boys. I don't know if that girls feel that way, but like I went to an all boys Catholic high school, and I mean, you sat down and you were ready to get hazed for the second you sat down, and you better have a comeback or have a better story than whatever they're telling about you, or you're dead. And the same thing. I was in a fraternity. I know you weren't, but fraternity life was very much like that.
Well, I think they said, what do they say? Women use humor to like bring you closer and uplift you, and men more use humor to dominate. It can be a very powerful or dominating thing too. Our use of humor can be a little different.
Yeah,
and you're right, because girls tell nicer. Their motives are a little cleaner.
Well, I mean, when you guys would talk about the backstories of Tough Crowd on O&A, and it would be you, Patrice, Colin. I want to say Keith. I remember being on a road trip one night, Voss, and hearing a story about Patrice and Colin getting in a fight.
Oh yeah,
and Patrice's mom had to come.
Sure,
and I was like, oh, this is like next level. Like, I remember hearing that and being like, I just turned it on, and they're telling the middle of the story, and I'm like, I'll never fucking find this. I'll never find the rest of this goddamn story. And I was just driving, going, God damn it. But like, I think that's like, it was. I remember seeing dudes come in when I worked at the Boston, and I talked about you today. I have the poster of the Boston Comedy Club behind you, of that flyer I used to have to hand out.
Oh, right. Louis Schaefer. I loved Louis.
Yeah.
Me, Bert. There you are. Bert, Jordan, Maceo, of course. Sue Costello. Who else? Oh, Talent. Jay. Dane, Jeff, Chappelle, DC, and fucking, and Reggie. I haven't seen Reggie McFadden in a while.
I saw Reggie McFadden do a showcase one time for Barry Katz. Everybody needs to keep it clean. And by the way, my memory is fucking suspect always from partying. But Reggie McFadden just walks up with his first joke. This is why you never eat stripper pussy.
He was a funny dude.
Yeah. How many
are those candies good?
Yeah, they're good. My girls put them out. You want some?
Can I have one?
Yeah, of course.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not eating much candy. I'm sorry to get this in the middle of your podcast.
No. Just grab the. Some might have stuff in them. Just take those. Those are for the girls. Yeah, those are fine. Those are the brand new. Hey, let me tell you something. We got next level candy here.
That's the sweater he's wearing.
Those are the new Skittles.
Oh.
Yeah, we get the brand new Skittles, and we got dessert Skittles in there if you're into them.
I only do one mouthful. I won't do this in your podcast. I apologize.
No, I
thought they were
don't give a
M&Ms.
shit, dude. I've been listening to you guys eat breakfast for fucking 5 years, 7, 8 years, 10 years, I guess. So, but yeah, I think who are the guys that you started with who was the guys that you started with that stayed with it, and not like Voss and Florentine, but like random guy. Like I started with Dimitri Martin. We started on the same night.
How is Dimitri?
I haven't talked to him in forever. I haven't talked to Dimitri, and he excelled so quickly. You know, when I started, it was there were two scenes. There were the Boston, that was like you, Bobby, Pete Corielli, Jordan, and then Chappelle, Tony Woods, Keith, Patrice.
I just saw Tony 2 nights ago at the Cellar. Last night.
He calls me every now and then. We're doing a podcast together. I don't want to get
Tony Woods is the funniest guy alive.
Hands down, no questions asked.
No one can be funnier for longer about any subject than Tony.
Yeah.
And that cadence and that absolute domination of a stage. Tony Woods, I think, is the most underrated stand-up because a lot of people listening might not know his name. He was
Chappelle's mentor.
Yes, he sounds like Chappelle, but Chappelle really sounds like him. And that just probably comes from they're both DC kind of half Southern guys. I don't think Chappelle's stealing it. I just think that's he was influenced by it. Tony Woods is fucking hilarious about everything.
Yep.
And just, man, that's slow. And the crowd, if I try to talk that slow, they order drinks. They want fucking nachos. I lose them immediately. If I'm not a fucking mushmouth rambling idiot, I lose them. Tony Woods is just, what a slow, confident performer. He's awesome.
I got to tell this because I never talk about this shit. I don't like to, but so Tony, when I first started working, Tony was the first guy I met, and like he was the nicest guy to me, and I met him through Jason Steinberg, and then Tony and I would party every night every year, every night I ever lived in New York. I partied with Tony Woods every night. Donnell, Tony, Greer, anyone. It was all black comics, so all you guys were sober. So, like you, Bobby, all you guys did was smoke, and I didn't smoke, and so we go and party every night. So, I don't see Tony for a while. I move to LA, get on the road. I'm at the DC Improv. Tony, I'm sure you know the Tracy Morgan story. Let's not get into it, but I'll tell you if you don't. I partied with Tracy Morgan one night. I had a crazy.
With Jay, the one. Yeah, sure.
I don't like getting into it. I don't like. It just causes drama. But Tony Woods was there that night. So me and Tony it was me and Tony hanging out. So Tony, I'm on stage in DC, and in the back I hear that Tony Woods voice. Why don't you tell that Tracy Morgan story, Bert Kreischer? Come on, go Bert. So I literally look back, and my wife's there, and I go, "Is that Tony Woods?" He's like, "Yeah, why don't you tell my story?" By the way, Tony tells it fucking a million times better than I'd ever fucking tell
he's
it.
Hilarious.
Because Tony's perspective is jaded because he sees it from he sees me as much more culpable, but it is fucking fantastic. So he came up on stage and we told dueling stories. So I tell my perspective and he told his perspective. And it was the only time I've really ever told it on stage, and it was fucking magical. And every time I get phone calls from him all the time. Like every time, middle of the night, I'll get a phone call. "Hey man, I'm in Reno. Hey, what's the name of that chick that we hung out with?" Like it was, that's not business shit. Like he's the fuck. I love
Are
Tony.
you gonna have him on?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna be in DC and because he's in DC. He's based out of DC now. So when I'm next in DC, I'm gonna try to do a long podcast with him.
I'm sorry. I'm
Don't
covering
worry
the
about
mic. Am I I hope you can't hear me chewing. I'm covering the mic.
No, don't, dude. Do not worry about chewing in the mic. I really don't give a fuck. I was gonna drink, but then I haven't drank in a while, so I was like, fuck it.
How long?
Well, I almost broke my back, so I was
How'd you do that?
Fell off a waterfall, and so I was on Vicodin and Valium for a while, and I don't mix pills and alcohol.
Yeah.
So that was like 16 days, and then off those, I drank this weekend in Toronto, but then I have then.
Think you're an alcoholic?
No, I don't get like shakes. I don't need to drink. I don't like I'm just like the average regular person. Like if everyone's drinking, I definitely want to drink.
Sure.
I'll tell you my problem is flying on planes. I can't not drink on planes.
Really?
Yeah, and
I
that's,
can't imagine drinking on a plane. I'd get so sick. I'd fucking vomit.
That is where I'm more obsessive compulsive. So like when I don't drink, it becomes a thing in my head. And I go, I feel fucking great, and then it's really hard to get me to drink again.
What do you drink on the plane?
Now this is going to sound like an alcoholic.
50 years ago, I would have said, "What's your poison?"
I drink beers on the plane, but I will always carry a flask, like a thermos, and like 4 Jack Daniel bottles in my bag, because I don't like looking like I'm drinking too much, but I also don't like being dictated how much I can drink.
Right? Why would you think that makes you look like an alcoholic?
So, well, I don't know. It just sounds.
No. All normal people sneak liquor onto a plane in thermos, in a coffee thermos. Yeah.
No, but on a flight to New York, I'll have like 3 beers. And then it's in everyone else's brain, they're like, well, that's been 3 beers. You should be pretty wasted. And I'm
Right.
like, not even fucking close. And we still have 4 hours left in this flight.
Yeah, we still haven't even backed out of the gate.
Yeah, back down the gate. But yeah, I think the road. I think I deal with depression through alcohol. But I think if I lived if I worked on a morning show, I wouldn't drink at all.
Yeah, I don't know how guys do it. I don't know how Anthony functioned for so long because he would. Well, I'd be up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd see tweets going out. I'd be like, "Oh boy, I know Ant's fucking power drinking." He'd make it in the next day. Usually, sometimes a little tired, a little worse for wear. But I was like, "How the fuck do you function doing that, man?"
It's that Mickey Mantle syndrome.
Yeah.
Like I have it too. Like I definitely will go when we shoot for Travel Channel for Trip Flip. I will definitely go out and have drinks at night. But I don't know. Maybe I turn it off earlier than I think, or maybe I just got that resilience where I get up and I'm like, fuck it, we got to work. Let's go.
What time can you get up?
I can get up I've gotten up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I get up at 4 a.m. Like if I have a flight, if all people over were drinking wine, and I got a flight the next morning, I get up right at there, get in the shower, take a full shower, get ready, and I'm on the fucking. Now I may have a beer on the ride to the airport, but that's just to right the boat.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Like-
a lot of people have beers on the way to the airport. Not at all a sign of alcoholism.
I think like I had a long talk with Stanhope about it, and Stanhope and I were like, it was like the most honest I think I've ever been with anybody. And I was like, do you ever get scared when you stop drinking? And he's like, all the time. That's why I have like a glass of wine so I don't have a stroke. I go, me too. Because you do get those long fucking, like coming back from Vietnam was a 33-hour flight, and I drank the vast majority of that 33 hours because I don't like flying. I get anxiety. And
Were
then,
you in Vietnam just doing gigs?
yeah, no, doing my Travel Channel show.
Oh.
And so I drank to Japan, and then we spat an overnight hotel, and then we got a hotel in the airport, and I have a couple bottles of wine there with the crew, and then we get on another plane, and I'm totally like, if you talk to me, lucid as fuck. You'd never guess I was drunk. I'm not that kind of guy. I'll pass out before I act drunk.
Right.
But yeah.
You could drink a bottle of wine and then be just normal.
Oh, if I drank a bottle of wine, you'd have no clue other than the fucking red teeth.
You're painting a great picture of alcoholism.
Shut up.
No non-alcoholic can drink a bottle of wine and not have it show.
Are you serious?
Have you? Do you know one non-alcoholic that
Don't
drinks?
just jump in because you're Jim's manager.
No, he won't.
Like, do you drink at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do?
come.
But
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, come.
So wait, could you drink it? Would you have a bottle of wine?
No, I'd be hammered. I'd be.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you know.
No one drinks beer on the way to the airport.
I've never done.
Steve Byrne and I were driving. We're doing a gig in like Seattle or something, and I had stayed out all night the night before, and I get in the car with a 6-pack of Heinekens, and Steve goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "You don't do this on the road?" And he was like, "No, I don't do this on the road." And let me tell you something. Cut to like fucking 4 months later on the Jameson tour, getting up in the morning. Steve's like, I wouldn't mind using a beer to fucking write this boat.
How do you fucking not puke all the time?
I don't drink the way like maybe you drank. Like I don't drink to get fucking hammered.
No, but I mean the motion sickness of the car, the plane, I'd vomit.
Oh, no, I don't get motion sick at all. I don't get like one of the things that like if I'm on a boat and I start getting motion sick, if I have a beer, it goes away.
So you can go on a roller coaster and not get sick?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can't go on roller coasters?
No. When I was in I was in Vegas with my ex-girlfriend, and we went to New York, and there was a roller coaster simulator. It was so humiliating. Where she set the course for us, where you get inside the simulator and they strap you in.
Oh yeah.
And it went upside down, and I hit the emergency button 8 seconds in, and they thought it was a mistake. They opened the thing like, "Did you hit that?" I'm like, "Nah, man, my arm is starting to hurt." She's like, "I was so fucking embarrassed that you got out in a little." I'm not kidding. Less than 10 seconds is all I could take it. I was
really,
yeah.
They
What
just
kind of
picked
fruit
up
is that? Oranges?
Yeah, oranges.
Cool.
They
Yeah, I
just
couldn't
picked
do
up my old show, Birth Conquer, where I rode roller coasters and did like thrill events. Travel Channel, it's like you said, Never Say Never with Opie and Anthony.
Right.
And they canceled it like 4 years ago. And then they just called up and they're like, "Hey, you want to do more episodes of it?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't give a fuck." It was a fun show to do because you're just hanging out with people that are passionate. But like, I just, I get motion sick, but I just don't.
Have you jumped out of a plane?
Yeah.
It's fun? Scary?
Yeah. It's a fascinating experience. You've never done it?
No.
It's I'll take you to do it if you want to do it.
No.
I'll take you to do it. It's you know what? Can I tell you that this is where I'm stuck a little bit comedically or artistically is I don't know properly how to talk about these events on stage. I'm having a hard time translating my feelings into comedy because some of them are just surreal. Like I have a great bit about jumping out of the plane. But like the truth about it is there's a very interesting moment that happens when you're falling where you realize the dice have been cast in your life. Like I'm either going to die and that's going to happen right now or I'm going to live and you have no control over it. And if as someone who obviously has a fear of flying and a little bit of a control freak, it's a fascinating feeling.
What did you say had been cast?
The dice.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you said dice. I wasn't sure.
I don't know. What did I say? Did it die? Isn't that the plural of dice? No. Die is one cat.
The die has been cast. I think you said the dice has been cast.
I don't know what I said. Why? Which one's right?
Die.
The die?
Yeah. I was just curious. I was just listening. I'm like, did he say that?
Would you jump out of a plane?
No.
No?
No. Under no circumstances.
Really?
It's parked at the gate. Yeah, but would I fucking jump out of a moving one in midair? No. But that feeling of falling, I mean, I imagine it's kind of fun, but it's also horrifying.
It is horrifying, but it's life-affirming.
You realize in that moment there's nothing you can do to change it, whether you live or die.
It's a very surreal feeling to be going. I did it with Rachel Ray, and she said to me, she goes, "It's interesting, and I want to talk to you afterwards. But when afterwards, tell me if you don't feel like you have a secret that no one knows." And it's exactly what it is. You feel like you have a secret and that no one knows.
I felt like that my whole life. I got 10,000 that no one knows.
But yeah, it's you are in this moment, and when that chute opens, it is everything in life that just buttoned into one instant, and it is overwhelming. And getting on the ground is fucking awesome. I've done everything there is to do thrill wise. There's nothing that is out there that I haven't done. I've done the world's tallest controlled descent. I've done the world's tallest indoor rope swing, the world's tallest outdoor rope swing. I've done.
You ever been fucked in the ass by a tranny with no condom?
No.
Oh, some risk taker. Exactly.
Let me tell you
gambling. You're not playing. You're playing Yahtzee. You're not gambling.
Yahtzee. Bailey J gets me every fucking time.
Bailey
J gets me every time because I click on her picture, not realizing it's her, and I see her dick, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Good.
Such a clean dick.
Yeah.
It literally is a clean, crisp, like penis.
Good description.
Yeah. But There was a viral video that's going around of this girl jogging in a white top and just jogging, and I was like, oh, Billy, it's got to do that.
Yeah.
But then you see her jogging in like the no bra and this white tank top, and then all of a sudden you see her dick floating around.
We had a great video.
So like
that.
when you talk about the tranny stuff, how close do you skate the line of joke and truth?
Well, I undertell the truth.
Really?
I tell the truth, but not nearly as much as has actually happened.
Really?
Of course.
We live in an alley. I have an alley right behind me.
Oh, that's okay.
What's up,
a
this
motorcycle?
guy? I know motorcycles. Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
No, I rode a moped, and little dorky Jimmy Norton, the moped mirror hit a parked car, and I flipped. It was my friend's brand new moped. I said, be careful with this. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. That destroyed any self-confidence. I fell right off his moped and fucking banged it up, and he had to push it home. It smelled like motor oil. Oh, humiliating. Just a loser.
What's something that you don't do that you'd like to get into?
Have normal, loving sex. That'll be nice. I don't know. I told Joe too. I'm trying to cut a lot of the sexual malarkey just to live a little better and a little more. So I don't know what I like to do. I don't know. People ask me my hobbies. I don't know. I got to figure that out. I want to read more. I don't read as much. I want to travel just for leisure more. A little bit here and there.
If you could do a show for Travel Channel, what would you do? I always say that because I know they listen to the podcast. And
what would I do for Travel Channel? Send me to brothels all over the world, and I'll give you detailed reports on how good they were. That's my idea. No one will finance it. We flew in first class into. I don't know. I'd love to do something with comedy clubs, going from comedy clubs all over the world, and doing something a random set in comedy clubs. I didn't know. I had an idea and I couldn't remember what it was, but it wasn't like fix up the club. It was just some weird thing with interviewing comics in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Are you a fan of comedy?
I don't watch it ever, but I mean, I like it. Sure.
Who's the last person you saw that really just made you fucking laugh?
I can't remember. I mean, I know all the funny ones I've seen in the comedy show. I watched Tony the other night. He made me laugh. I'll see Amy or I'll see fucking all, Colin, all the guys I know, but I can't remember who's the last person I saw that was new. I saw a guy named Mark Normand. You know Mark, right? Mm-hmm. He opens for Amy Schumer a lot. I don't know him well, but I watched him for like a minute the other night. I'm like, oh, this guy's good. Like, I have never watched him. He had like a real good comedian voice and great delivery, and I thought he was funny.
It's interesting because I feel like the transition between what is a good comic that I see on a club in the cities, LA or New York, and then these days what is a headlining set are totally different. I don't feel like anyone's doing, even yourself, I don't feel like you're, I mean, I can't remember where I saw you. I want to say maybe I saw you in Tampa. I was in town and I saw you in Tampa. But it seems like you've gone from what was, when I originally saw you, which was Set Up Punch, to a little bit of a longer form.
Yeah, I mean, you get bored with the same formula because it becomes, your brain you don't even think about what you're saying anymore. It just becomes rhythm. And fucking it's like doing the same beat on your fucking leg all day. You're bored. There's no challenge in that. So you start talking a little more long form. The radio helps with that. Writing helps with that. And I enjoy it. I don't know if people don't like it. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's like, it's like any other job, man. You got to fucking spice it up or you go crazy.
What do you do when you do sets in the city?
I work on material.
Because this is where I'm lost. Is I don't find any point in me doing sets in the city because I'm telling fucking 10-minute stories or 12-minute, 15-minute stories, or I'm just fucking around on stage on the road. I'm not really trying to craft any bits per se, and I got kids, and so I'm like, well, I just feel like it's fucking gluttonous for me to just go and do what I'm already knowing is working.
Well, then don't do what you know is working. That's what I do. Like my special comes out next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why I'm out doing promotion. It's called Contextually Inadequate. It's on Epix, and it comes out Friday the 24th at 10 p.m.
Oh, fantastic.
So I had to drop an hour of material. So, like, I shot it a couple months ago. So I've been working since then. It's like all that material's gone. So now I go in the cellar, and I start working on shit, man. I start from scratch.
You really scrap everything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
I haven't dropped a special in a while, but even when I do go to a city that I've been to before, like I try not to repeat material when I go back, but I will always I always feel like I have to give them at least 35% of a good show.
Oh yeah, but I don't go on the road right away. Like for the first couple of months, like I'm still doing jokes from the special. Like I got 30 new minutes now. Like Kenny was timing me, and he's giving me light at about 30, which means I'm halfway done. I'm still on this one bit, and I haven't even gotten to the old stuff yet. I've been closing with the old stuff. Like I'm almost squeezing it out.
Yeah.
It's like you're fucking squeezing toothpaste, and eventually it'll all be out. So I love going into the cellar just fucking naked with nothing and just working on it. And
I wish I could do that.
that's fun, man.
I wish I could do that in L.A. L.A. seems like a different town for that, though.
No, you can. You just gotta be willing to bomb.
No, I don't mind bombing, but I feel like L.A.'s like the Improv's like it's the fucking comedy juice show, and it's. I mean, I'm not shitting. I don't know who's on it, but it seems like a lot of guys that are coming in to do their tight 10 and fucking thunder, so that everyone's like, "Hey, man, you're fucking the best."
Yeah,
How come you're not famous yet?
No, I don't care about those guys. You know, it's like, fuck them. Do what they want to do. Go up there and hammer it out and fucking, and throw the mic down when you're done. You and your victory on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Get fucking killed.
Yeah.
Who cares? Wow, you killed on a Tuesday with your weekend material.
Yeah.
Drop fucking dead. Means nothing to me. When I see guys doing murderous material on a Tuesday that I know is their weekend shit, it's like, really, dummy? For $30 you're doing this shit?
Dude, that is the most prophetic statement I've heard.
So silly. What do you think we're here for? Like, I'm not saying to you, but
No.
like I respect the Comedy Cellar a great deal, but they respect stand-up. And it's like, on the weekends I try to do better, but I'm still doing newer shit.
Yeah.
I make $30 on a Tuesday there. So, of course, I want people to laugh. And I do material that works, but I do a lot of material that doesn't.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that doesn't begins to work, and then I totally throw out the other shit that worked. So now the stuff that works is just the new shit. But I mean, you're doing what is fucking the Improv pay? $8?
Yeah.
And what am I hoping there's a big casting agent in the audience? It's not 1980. It doesn't happen like that.
It seems like that's. I mean, I went and did one. Like I'll do stuff with Rogan when he's out at the Ice House.
Sure.
And it's all fucking. Everyone's writing new. I mean, that's that energy.
Right.
And I think the store is a place where you could write new. I just never got into the store. Never.
Yeah.
It was like not. And now I'm like fucking already on the road so much. I'm not going to try to like break into a club. But I just feel like LA always had that energy of like, go up, murder, fuck writing, murder, fucking get it,
I mean, the Laugh Factory kind of has that energy. I can understand that. And yeah, you want to do well and you want to get laughs, especially on a Friday or Saturday early show. But again, on the weeknights, man, on a Monday or a fucking Tuesday, it's very unimportant to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get laughs, but it's like, fucking, what am I doing here? It's almost like going to the gym and not doing cardio because you can't immediately see it when you flex. It's like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, for the money they're paying me, you want my headline sets? Good, pay me X amount for the weekend. I'll be glad to give you an hour of that shit. How much you want to give me? $20? Well, here you go.
Yeah.
And I fucking, but I don't say that disrespectfully. I love it. I fucking love that process. And then eventually the material becomes really good.
No, but that's the energy of the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah. But they get it.
That is a bee's nest of creativity.
Well, I mean, you work with guys like Colin all the time, or used to be always Geraldo. These guys are banging out smart new shit, and you go up there doing the same old stuff. You feel like a douche.
Yeah.
You just feel empty and dumb and stagnant. I remember Geraldo came up to me one time at the Comedy Cellar, and he goes, "Damn, man, I feel like I'm not doing any new material. I just feel stuck. Like I'm doing the same shit. My wife has been saying it." And I'm like, wow. And then like, the next time I saw me at all this stuff, like, but it's like we all get into that creative, like, I suck dick thing. I'm not good.
Yeah.
But those guys that go up and kill on a Tuesday, and again, I'm not saying you never should kill on a Tuesday, but those guys that go up there and I see the same material out of them every night on the weeknights, you deserve to be exactly where you are if you're not doing well.
Yeah.
Keep killing on a Tuesday, shithead. Go up there.
So what's your process of writing these days?
Yeah, you just try it on stage.
No, but
That's really it.
No, but like, what are you like? Are you digging into what is inside you, or what you're noticing people doing, or what is aggravating you? Because on radio, and what I like about you is you always have a very poignant opinion about what is happening, like the free range parenting that's going on right now, or like Jameis Winston. Like or rape culture or rape jokes or you always seem to have a thing, but do you kind of micromanage that and go that's radio talk? I'm going to leave that for radio, Or do you mind that somehow?
Nah, not really. I mean, you try to make it into something that works on stage. I mean, but I really don't. I'm not even good at writing things down anymore. I literally just go up and just bounce ideas around. Most times they go nowhere.
Yeah.
But there's really no process other than just doing that. I wish I was more vigilant writing, or I'll talk an idea in. Hey, talk about like this. I'm telling a story now on stage. It's a true story about me and my friend getting busted stealing Star Wars figures at Corvettes. So that's a bit that I do.
Your stories of you and your friends when you're kids are the fucking best. What was the one with the? Didn't you have one where you threw a bowling ball through a fucking window or something? What's the hardest you ever laughed? I want to say there's probably two, but there's one you said the hardest you ever laughed was in the back of the car. I'm piecing together.
Yeah, tell me. I don't know which one you mean.
But and then there's one where I thought we were there.
When I was a kid, and we threw me and Angelo and Raphael through a giant. We pushed a snow. We threw a grate. There was a grate that like a half moon grate. We took it and threw it through a kitchen window. I think we were hard. We were vandals that weren't even fun. It was just like break shit. I remember. No, I did that when I was older. I was drunk in New Brunswick. We were driving around, and I pissed into a cup. And I remember we would drive through New Brunswick and throw it at like all these fucking tough guys wearing these black dudes wearing their sheepskin coats.
Yeah.
Because that was the scariest thing. I would throw cups of piss on people. And I remember one time I took a cup of piss and I put the lid on. It was a Coke, not a can, but a cup.
Yeah.
And I threw it, and there was this couple walking, and the guy saw it coming, and he put his arm up to stop it, and it hit his arm, and I fucking sprayed him and his girlfriend with piss. It's one of my greatest moments. I'm ashamed of it now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we used to love. We rode around one night and had fucking. It looked like a seltzer dispenser, like the other thing the Stooges would blast each other with.
Yeah.
But this was probably 3 feet tall. It was a high-powered water thing. It was probably 11 degrees out, and we were trying to squirt cold water on people out in the freezing cold.
Yeah.
But we literally couldn't find anybody outdoors. It was so cold. But I remember looking back on that, going, "How psychotic to want to spray cold water on people out in that weather. Somebody would have died."
No, is someone very easily could have died? Was that? Or do you think that you were the impetus of that, or was it the guys you were hanging out with?
All of us. It was all these other guys. When I was 13, we used to hang out. We would ride around and do vandalism. We would fucking like pop people's tires, and we would take oil. They would pick me up, and they would have these margarine dishes full of oil, and we would ride around parking lots and look for open car windows, and just like throw motor oil all over people's dashboards and on their fucking. There was not even any joy in it. It was just utter ugliness. I remember one time we were riding through a parking lot and we saw this fucking half-melted thing of chocolate ice cream. So we found this like open car window, and it had like this fur-lined seat which was made for chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
And we threw it all over the fucking somebody's fur seat lining. So we're driving by a few minutes later, and we see like this really old couple outside, and they were probably in their 70s, and the old woman is just cleaning her husband's back, and I knew the old man had sat in it and gotten chocolate all over him. I was so fucking happy.
It's interesting. I go back to being 14 years old when that was your weekend,
and that was it, man.
And I don't even know if kids do it. I would be so irate if someone did that to me now. Like, I don't understand that energy in children. What the fuck is wrong with them? But I remember Sal Carnante pissing in a fucking Alfa Romeo. He goes, "Who leaves their fucking top down?" And just started pissing in it. And I started laughing hysterically. And he's like, "Take a shit on the hood. Take a shit on the hood." It was, that energy was like, I guess it was what creativity before you knew what creativity was.
Yeah, it was also just getting something out. You didn't know what it was. And you didn't think about the consequences. Like, I've told the story about Mike and Stanley, who were the guys I hung out with. Stanley was an older guy, bodybuilder, and his younger brother, Mike. And we were riding one time down the street. And, do you know, I don't know if I told you this story, but we were riding down the street. We saw a guy hitchhiking, and it was like 90 degrees. It was boiling hot. He had no shirt on. I'll never forget, Mike went, "Hey, Stanley, let's turn around and go back and throw some oil on him." And he meant it. Like, what he wanted to do was he wanted to drain engine oil. And he wanted to get hot oil out of the engine and throw it onto this guy's bare chest as he was hitchhiking. It was criminal. Mike and I were 13, though. But I'll never forget that. "Hey, Stanley, let's throw some oil on him." That's one of my favorite memories as a child. Or we had Chinese mustard, and there was a female hitchhiking. No, she was just walking. And I'll never forget, Mike went, "Hey, whore, have some mustard." And he threw Chinese mustard, and she waved because she didn't know what was happening. And she had Chinese mustard on her. There wasn't even any humor in it. It was just ugly behavior towards people, and it felt great.
That is a fascinating...
I don't know why we would do it. There was no punchline to it. It was just being a scumbag.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was, we used to do scavenger hunts every year. And a scavenger hunt, you basically just destroy property.
Yeah.
I remember getting a gun waved at us. We took a guy's bird bath, and he fucking came out in a CRX, and we were in me, Fritz Casper, Blake Casper, Duncan McKay, all of them were related. They were all cousins, and I was Blake's best friend, and a guy came out in a CRX with a gun, pulled up right off of, right next to, I think, not Kennedy, but West Shore, and fucking started waving the gun in our faces. And he's like, "I'll fucking kill you." And Fritz Casper was crazy. He's like, "Fucking pull the trigger, asshole. Pull the fucking trigger." And it was like the most epic evening of my life.
Sounds like something out of The Departed.
Oh, it was what was even the most insane part of it. And I still, it's the fragility of the chase was we get up. I'm saying all the streets wrong, by the way, but we get up right where Academy of the Holy Names is, and we get up. Not that you know the people that grew up in Tampa, and there's a stoplight, and there's no one on the fucking road. It's like fucking 2 a.m, and there's a stoplight, and we pull up to the stoplight, and the guy with the gun pulls up behind us, right, and he opens his door, and Fritz is like, and Fritz is watching him, and I go, when he gets out of his car, punch it, and then so. The guy gets out of his car and Fritz punches it. And the guy gets back in his car and we pull up now to Bayshore. Have you ever been to Tampa on Bayshore? Bayshore is the longest continuous sidewalk in the world. So it's on the water and it's one long street. And we're now taking a left onto Bayshore and the guy's doing the same thing with the car. He's getting out of his car and Fritz kind of punching it. And so it's like this real like fucking cat and mouse game of like, we're either going to get the shit kicked out of us or we're getting away. And he opens the door and you had to wait for him long enough to get up to the car so you could punch it. And as soon as Fritz wants to punch it, his fucking car stalled. Oh, no. And then fucking and turns it on and gets on, and the guy jumps on the side of the car and is reaching in the car in the passenger door. Me and Duncan are in the back like fucking punching him. And then the guy fell off and we just kept going. And when we hid out in a fucking parking lot, and I looked back and I was like, I was so irresponsible. I was just destroying someone's property and then getting the guy so angry that he might have committed a crime and murdered us.
Over a bird bath?
Over a bird bath. But man, I'll never forget that night.
If we were on the news, I would have wrapped that segment up. Well, the bird bath, he turned into a real bird brain. Coming up, a clever little tie-in line.
Was there a moment when the split up happened that you were like, what's my next move? Like what am I?
Yeah, well,
out of radio.
When Ant got fired, my first thought was that we were getting fired. Sure.
And did you panic? Were you scared?
Oh my God, yeah, of course. I said, well, you weren't into Save Anthony mode. You were into, oh no, we're all getting fired mode. What do I do now?
Yeah.
And I've been fired. It was traumatic getting fired years ago.
The first time was?
Oh yeah, in 2002.
Because you were how old?
Well, it's 2000. That's 12 years ago.
30?
So I was 34. I'm 46 now.
You're 34. Did you think you'd be doing stand up at 46?
Yeah, it's all I ever wanted to do. I mean, once I started, I thought.
But who was doing it at 46 when you started? Nobody.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Not that I knew.
Nobody was doing it at 46 when I started. When I started, no one was doing it. That's the weird thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I heard someone say, "Whoa, I don't want to be doing the road." Probably on Opie or you guys. I don't want to be doing the road at 60. I don't want to be doing clubs at 60. And then
Voss said that 5 years ago.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. And then I was like, well, Voss is doing the clubs at 60. And then, but when I started, Rich Voss might have been the oldest person doing stand up.
Yeah.
In New York. So did you think when you started, did you think you'd be doing this at 46?
No, I mean, I figured I'd want to blow my brains out sooner or later. I never thought I'd live this long, and I certainly didn't think I'd still be doing stand-up. Like, I didn't know what I'd be doing, but I didn't think I'd not be doing stand-up for a bad reason. I just never believed I could actually do this long and be good at it or successful at it.
Did you think this was the path?
It's all I ever wanted. So
No, meaning like when you started, were you like, okay, fucking get cleared up past all the clubs, hang out at the Cellar, fucking maybe do some TV, or did you just think, I just want to work clubs in New York?
I never realized I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't think any of it would come true. So the fact that any of it, I never saw I never thought I'd be accepted in New York clubs. I never thought I'd get real work. And as far as TV, there was a time where I could do all this TV, and now it's harder for me to get on TV. I couldn't get on Fallon this time, or we didn't really try Kimmel just because it was too late by then. He was already booked. But we had a fucking bad experience trying to get on Fallon, and I liked Jimmy a lot. It wasn't him. It was just, that's a big show, and they had all this, maybe we can, we'll see what we can do. And they kind of, and I don't think they do it on purpose. They're not trying to be dicks. They're just trying to book their show.
Yeah.
But they kind of didn't say absolutely not soon enough, and they lead you to believe that you might be able to do it. And then when you can't do it, it's too late to do something else.
Yeah.
TV was. So you know what I mean? It's like you never know when you say you'd be on TV. Like, I never thought I'd be on TV as much as I have been. And then all of a sudden go fuck, I can't even get on with a 2-month lead notice. I must be in shit.
Do you feel like that?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And I'm not saying that, I said to my manager all the time, he already knows not to go, no, you're not. I just vocalize it. Utterly irrelevant, yeah. But that's, the proof is, when you can't get a spot, on any of the shows. I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right.
But it's Fallon's shows definitely blossomed into a celebrity factory.
Big show.
I think that it's like the biggest stars in the world are begging to get on.
I think you're right.
I can't imagine. I see more on Conan, because
I don't know if Conan would have me. Of course, I would do it because I lined up with Leno, but I never said fuck Conan. I just like Jay. I think Kimmel would have me back. I've done a show once in 2007. I think Jimmy would have me on. It was just a matter of they were already booked. Seth Meyers maybe would, or I don't know if Colbert would. But my publicist is really nice. But she's like, well, do you want to see if maybe we should try to do some test shows for Colbert to get in early? And that's just how publicists think.
Yeah.
Now, if Colbert said, would you do a test show? I'd go, sure, because I like him. I think he's funny.
Yeah.
But would I do that just to get in? No, because I can't be that sneaky about it. I just can't be.
Yeah.
To me, that's just too fucking Tuesday night killing conniving. If they wanted me to, I'd be happy to because I like him. But if they won't have me on because I'm a good comic, then I don't belong there anyway.
No, but that's the jacket, I think. And I've kind of been, I think I will always consider myself a New York comic first because that's where I started. But those are the guys I looked up to. So that's the path I liked. I never looked at New York comics as guys who routed themselves, going they're not boastful, they're not shameful promoters.
Right.
They're guys that like what they do and can be who they are, and that's it. And I think that's why I fell into hosting so easily, is that I was like, I don't know if I can be the wacky next door neighbor.
Right.
I can definitely be Bert, and I can be a dial back version of Bert, but I can't be something other than that.
Right.
And I don't know if that is a fault of my grooming or who I looked up to. I say grooming. I don't think I was. I think I'm a road comic really. But when I started, the guys I looked up to are all the guys that it's the fucking cellar. Just sit. I said at the bar. We're over by Geraldo because Geraldo always sat over by the bar. Attell would sit by the bar.
That's what the liquor is.
Yeah. and then I'd fucking slide over and just kind of eavesdrop and just fucking listen to the fucking destruction.
I found a nice picture of me and Attell at the bar back when I was wearing my sweaters. I had these awful sweaters. Well, actually, this is a pretty cool sweater, but this is many, many years ago. If I find it, I'll show it to you. It's a really non-story. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Gives a fuck.
Do you want to get married?
Huh?
Do you want to get married?
Eventually. I mean, not to you. If you're I might. I might. Sure.
You've dated serious chicks.
I have, but I'm trying to cut out all the sexual shit just to see what's left.
Do you find it? Have you heard of this sex toy called the Pulse?
No.
It's a new male sex toy.
It'd be nice if I fucked one girl that had one. Oh, Jim, zipping them in there.
What do you do when you hang out with your parents? Do you not tell your joke? Do you not?
Not like that.
No. But do you find yourself biting your tongue a lot?
Well, we don't have that kind of banter anyway. But I mean, it's just more just chit chat. I'm a little more polite.
Yeah.
I'm good around other people's families too.
Yeah. The nicest, sweetest people.
I'd imagine. I remember.
So sweet.
I want to say a long time ago, you guys played clips from your mom leaving voicemails about your lifestyle.
It's on my CD.
Is that what it is? About your lifestyle?
Yeah, about getting ladies of the evening, and
Yeah.
prostitutes and stuff.
Oh, it was fucking. It's one of those things that was like the early. I don't know. It was like pulling back the fucking veil and finding out. My fucking now I'm self-conscious of my analogies and my
Why?
wording. So I don't think it's a veil. I think it's a curtain. But like,
It's all right. It's not routed. It's touted. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I love it.
The die is cast.
the
Yes.
die is cast.
Yes.
So you'd think would you have kids?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not against any of it anymore. Like, you know what I mean? I'm 46. I'm not exactly a catch. So if anybody wanted to put up with my fucking malarkey for the rest of it, maybe. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. It used to be no, but now it's like, yeah, why not?
Really?
I was sure if I met the right person.
Nice.
I'm kind of bored being single.
Yeah, but now the Florentine's single.
I know. I was just thinking that. But Jim also liked being married. So
Yeah, that's what he's.
Bob Kelly likes being married. So Opie likes being married. So this is hope.
Yeah.
I got to piss.
Go ahead.
Do I have
You want
time?
to wrap it up?
What time? How much long are we talking?
Oh, we talked about an hour. That's good.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to piss my pants.
Yeah. So the name of the special is?
Contextually Inadequate, Friday the 24th, Epix and epixhd.com, and it's on 10 p.m.
And Opie and Jim, the Opie Radio is on.
Opie show in the morning, and Opie and Jim Norton, whatever you're going to call it. We're on Monday through Thursday. We're there.
Can they fix the fucking numbers from 206 to 103? It's the most annoying goddamn
There is a
fucking
reason
thing.
they can't do it. It was a technical reason. If you have, because we're XM based and not Sirius based, there was a technical reason they couldn't do it, and they
Yeah.
explained it to me. I don't remember. They weren't being dicks by not doing it. There was an actual physical reason.
Okay. Well, yeah, the app is fantastic, and it's the one thing I'd say.
I've never heard anyone say that.
What?
Everyone always complains about the app. Is
Oh,
it good?
I fucking love the app.
Good.
Oh yeah, but I got it through Roland, so I fucking love it. I type in. You can search. It's fantastic, and I will say, I hope, and I've paid for a year of Anthony up front, right when he went over. But I hope Anthony starts fucking not doing the paid service because it's so difficult to get. It's the only thing. It's like I find that if my thumb is a 3-point shot, my thumb's a basketball player, and it has a certain scoring radius, and if it's not within my thumb, or if it's too many steps from my thumb, it stays out of my fucking.
Absolutely.
It's like when you wanted to buy movie tickets and they make you join their club.
Yeah, I'm not joining.
It's like,
No, I did it out of support. I bought the fucking year, but I was like, and I watched the first like couple weeks. Then I was like, I'm in the fucking go. I'm on the car. I just
It's hard to do it at home.
All right, at Jim Norton, eatabullet.com.
Just JimNorton.com.
What happened to Eat a Bullet?
I had it, but then someone gave me Jim Norton, so I finally bought Jim Norton because the scumbag cyber squatter, who I hope was killed in a fucking drunk driving accident, didn't re-up it. Fucking cyber squatter cunts.
I appreciate you doing this, man. I hope.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you a lot.
No, I have a good time talking to you, and I'll be in New York. I'll hit you up when I'm in New York.
Cool.
Maybe I'll come down to the cellar. You hang out at the cellar still a lot?
I do.
I'll come down to the cellar and hang out. I don't know. What was I going to say?
Thank you.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say anything. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Bye.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.